amateurism has serious implications in building trust and credibility between insiders, the population that we try to help, and the outsiders, us, the international community. As Peace Fellows, we choose to operate in highly polarized societies, in conflicts, in wars, where the level of political complexity affects all the time the social dimension. It is not possible to go to a country to assist the population without being affected by the internal power struggle. We can never operate in a purely neutral environment, since working for the population in need will be perceived by others as a biased help. Therefore, being prepared and trained is the best that we can do. While supervising development initiatives in the field of conflict resolution for the UN Development Programme in Lebanon, I encountered a number of challenges. The forced cohabitation of 18 different religious communities, a civil war which left 300,000 casualties of a population of 2 million people, an imperfect peace agreement mainly imposed by foreign countries without accompanying social dialogue and national reconciliation. In the 3 years I lived in Lebanon, few occasions were spent understanding and analyzing the political and social situation of the country, mainly because of the urgent needs of the population, and also because of the default set of initiatives of the United Nations. But at that time, everything seemed to be fine and great. After all, projects were going on, we were doing many things. But the crucial question that we should have asked was instead, are we doing the right things? The reply arrived on February 14, 2005, 1 p.m., when a bomb killed Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik Hariri and dramatically started destabilizing the country. Could all this have been predicted? Did we have indicators that the situation changed? If I look back now, that I possess more theoretical foundations for analyzing the situation in Lebanon from my studies in Berkeley, my reply is yes. Yes, we could have understood the situation better. We could have listened more carefully. We could have planned initiatives more relevant to the needs of the population. I certainly don't want to suggest that the United Nations is a bunch of incompetents. But if people lack analytical skills and professional tools to analyze a situation, you end up doing a modest job without positive results, also if you work for a great organization as the UN. The bomb which killed Prime Minister Hariri and devastated the country forced me to reconsider myself as a professional. How well had I understood this country? Did I really possess the skills and the knowledge to be a professional? I realized that to make an impact in so challenging an environment as the Middle East, people must have an outstanding knowledge of history, politics, social sciences. We need to know the language, the culture, the theories which govern international relations. We can't afford to act as amateurs. I discovered the Rotary World Peace Fellowship because a friend of mine who had been an ambassadorial scholar encouraged me to apply. This is the power of the Rotary Network.
This is a tree that was never chopped down to make a crutch that was never needed by a child who never got polio, because medicine was never in short supply, thanks to people whose compassion wasn't either. Over the past 20 years, Rotary Club members have helped immunize over 2 billion children against polio. Thanks to them, the world will soon be polio-free. Rotary, humanity in motion.
Since I was a boy in my childhood's Stavanger on the southwest coast of Norway. There were several Rotary clubs there, and they started to invite me early on to give presentations on Amnesty International or on the Red Cross and the many things that I was working on, and several of the parents of people I knew were Rotarians. Always very interesting to go there because there are so many different walks of life and so many different professions represented. For me, it's important with the Rotary clubs that I have seen on many continents, not only in my own home country, Norway, including here in the United States, is that it's really deeply rooted in the local society. People are very proud to represent their community, but they're not only content to think of how one should do local service, but also on national service and international service. And that's what to me is to be a whole human being today. We have to do service locally, nationally and internationally. And I was always pleased to see that when I was in a club, they wanted to contribute to the international causes that I represented, and were very interested in the work. And one of these clubs made me a Paul Harris Fellow, which was a great honor for me after my work on the Middle East peace process and the Oslo agreements. Well, I've been a little bit critical, really, of all rich countries, because the rich world is getting bigger and bigger and richer and richer. Europeans, North Americans, the Gulf countries, a number of Asian countries, and they spend on average 0.2% of their riches in international compassion. So I say, yes, it's quite a few $billion altogether from all of these countries, but after all, we keep 99.8% to ourselves, and that's not very generous. This is the generation which could say, enough is enough, no more children should go to bed starving, no more children should be preventing from going to school, no more children should not have the possibility to get vaccination against the killing diseases of this world. It is a question of, a little bit less luxury for the several billion rich people in the world, and we would fix it all. The biggest challenge in 2006 is to be predictably there for those who need us the most. Those in the crossfire, civilians in the crossfire in Darfur, civilians who can go home in the Congo where peace is slowly breaking out. To be predictably there for those who are suffering drought and hunger on the Horn of Africa, those who are suffering from internal strife in Colombia and New Zealand, in Nepal and elsewhere. We're not predictable at the moment because we do not have the resources at our hand to be there for everybody. We're great in some circumstances, like in the tsunami, and even in northern Pakistan after the earthquake, but we're very bad on average in Africa. Rotarians can help us to be predictable.